okay, a thing that's been wrestling in my head that I wanted some advice on. Raised by a single mom, didn't have much, and now I got kids, and their life is much easier and better than I ever had. And I want to instill hard work and this effort to that nothing is handed to you, that you have to put in the work, you have to grind, you have to learn responsibility. But their life is so much easier than mine ever was. And I watch this, it's natural, I think, as like, hey, Dad, when are we, how much are we going to get to spend for new shoes for our birthday? How much new, where do you get, can I get new cleats? Can I get this? And it's always like, you're the piggy bank. Mm-hmm. And that's the last thing I want to be. Like earning, there's some love gifts, but there's also needs to be moments where you have to earn it, especially when they're in that training stage, like 13, 14. It's time for you to start learning like this discipline of financial literacy and things like that. So I'm like, have you guys encountered that? How do you work through entitlement with your kids?
It's always a fine line, right? Because you want to give your kids everything you didn't have as a child, right?
Yeah, is that, you know, do you want that? Do you want that?
You know, so it's like you work hard to provide for your kids and give them stuff like, you know, when I growing up, I couldn't just be like, hey, I want to go spend $100 on shoes. So it's like, do I want to buy you the new shoes? So the stuff I have, so it's a borderline, but you want to make them work for it as well. So I think, just finding the balance of not letting them feel entitled. I think we ran it with our girls where, you know, growing up, I didn't have a lot of family dinners. It was, you know, this or there. So family dinners are important to us. Even if it's going out to eat, we're like, hey, let's go out to eat. We've worked hard where we can financially do that. So our thing is we go out to eat once a week. And I think our daughters have gotten so used to it now. They're like, at the table, they're just all quiet. And it's me and my wife, we're like, why we should have left you guys at home if you guys didn't want this. So I think it's become more of like, they expect it to happen now. And it's like, oh yeah, we're just going to eat again.
Do they expect to get a soda too?
Yeah.
So I know.
For me,
my kids looking at me like, oh, Dad, are we allowed to get a Coke this time? I go, no, you drinking water. Yes. I'm drinking a beer, but y'all getting water.
So, and I think going back to like trying to fight with it is, we talked earlier about them being a sponge. And I think as fathers, or as you think of what lessons can we teach our kids, what are we teaching them? But it's, again, going back to being a sponge, is they're looking at everything you're doing. So as fathers, it's like little stuff. How you serve? Do you serve? Are you doing this stuff? Like at home, when they see me like cleaning, cooking, cleaning, doing laundry, it's like, yeah, I'm still putting work at home. You're seeing. So when I'm making you do chores, I'm doing these chores just as well. You know, or when I'm working hard, I'm instilling these work ethics in you. So they're still a sponge, even no matter how old they get. It's just now they're seeing these certain things. You know, how do you treat people? How do you talk to people when you go out? Those are the things that are fixing, I guess, entitlement in my eyes. Is like they're seeing, if I go to a restaurant, I talk to a person, look them in the eyes, I want you to do the same. You're going to order for yourself, or you're going to look them in the eyes, you're going to talk to them. Mm-hmm. Hey, you want to go order, you want this? Dad, can you order this boba Starbucks? Okay, go up to the counter, order yourself. Yeah. Well, Dad, I'm afraid to talk to people. Nope, you're going to learn that, right? So
it's going to suck to watch me eat this delicious thing while you watch.
Exactly.
Because you need to learn how to speak up and make eye contact.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, definitely. You want those new shoes? Okay. What chores have you done this week? What have you done? You know, so teaching, I'm more than willing to buy you these things, but you got to earn it. Or what money have you earned? Hey, put 30, like we just bought phones for our daughters, and it's like, well, you're paying the taxes on them. The taxes are $80 to $100. Like, hey, you want that new phone? I can buy you some flip phone if you want. You want that iPhone 12? All right, you got to put some money in it. And they're like, what? But okay, we'll give you this flip phone, that Nokia that was from 1995. No, I'll take the new phone. Okay.
Where you still play Snake?
Yeah, right. So navigating that, it's always, you know.
I think for me, I mean, I pulled up this photo. So here's Teddy today.
Is that a lemonade stand?
It's no, he's got sunglasses and rocks and toys.
Oh wow, he's selling stuff.
Yeah, he just went outside the house. It was hot. He sat there and made $1 whole.
Hey.
Where's he at? I'm gonna go buy some sunglasses from Ryan.
Yeah, I'm like, it's a little rough timing, middle of the week or whatever. But
are they your sunglasses that he's selling for $1?
Yes. They're like legit. All right. They're Oakleys.
Can you want my Ray-Bans? My phone, Dad.
He's going around the house.
Where are my Ray-Bans at your house?
They're probably right there being sold.
They just sold for $1.
Oh my gosh, you're a kid.
But yeah, I mean, we try to I mean, say, hey, you guys want something? How do you be creative? I mean, my kids have sold stuff on OfferUp. Teddy's, gone to his homeschool group and he's selling candy or different stuff. So I think some of that, it's like fun to encourage them. And I think there's a pride in like being able to earn their own money. So I think that pushback, like, hey, how are you going to do it? Johnny, he wanted to build his own computer. That was a pain because that was a little more expensive. So they know, hey, I only get so much for my birthday or this or that. Like, I mean, I took that kid around door dashing, which was miserable. And
so do you split the cost with him?
Yeah, I split it and just say, hey, like, this sucks, right? Like, yeah, you need to go get a better job than this. But it's some way that he can, earn money. So I'm just trying to be creative with them. Like, what can you do? How do you get some experience out there? And it's either going to suck or you're going to fail. But like, that's also, part of what it is to, be creative and, earn
you
some
have
money.
to make them be stressed and stretch them. Yeah. Centers. We were working out this morning and he didn't want to do any more legs. And I go, centers are built different. Oh, Dad. No, centers are built different. You want to make those gains? We're built different. And I was thinking through, there's a difference between allowance and just like, we used to just say, all right, hey, you did your chore, you made your bed, you did your chore on the house, here's your allowance for $5 a week. Last few years, we said, we're not doing that. Those are just expectations of being a centers, being our family. Like, that's just welcome to being part of a family.
Contributing to this household.
Yeah, you're contributing to the household. This is what we're called to do. Yeah. So we all do chores. We all have a responsibility. But then we also have a list of what we call gigs. Gigs are where you guys value creation, where they can be paid to do something. And we have an app on our phone that we get with it's called Greenlight. And the Greenlight app does you can put the gigs on there and they have their debit card you can watch.
That's cool.
But the gigs are like, hey, if you want to, I have a pool cleaner.
Yeah.
So if you want to become the pool cleaner, I pay $25 a week. So if you want to be the pool cleaner, great. I'll cancel him. I'll pay you $25 a week. But I can fire you for that job if it's not to the same quality. So they're brushing it because they want that money. Or another gig we do. We were just trying this, so I'll let you know how it goes. But brain gigs where they have over the summer, watch a TED Talk and then tell me 3 things you learned and 1 thing you're going to apply. And that can earn them an additional half hour of tech time or
awesome.
Because I'm like, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna.
In my head, I'm like, you have 11 kids. You're like, they're gonna form a union on you. They're gonna have they're like, let me talk to HR, Dad. Let's see if we can make this. They're gonna want more money.
We want more pay. We want more pay.
Well, now the best thing.
Walk out. We quit.
Well, now my kids work at the restaurant here. My kids work because when you own the business, your kids can work wherever you want. So they're 13 and they work here. And I get to pay them what I feel is right. And they're asking all the other brew crew. I'm like, one, you never ask someone else's pay. What is with this generation? And now I got a 13-year-old asking. And they're like, Dad, you're only paying us $10 an hour? I go, yeah, that's more than enough. Keep it up, you're getting 8. But they're washing dishes and making it happen. Yeah.
Tell them you'll pay them more, but you're going to have to charge them rent.
Yeah, exactly. And you want, or they said they wanted shoes. I go, all right, you get $150 to cleats for this season. If you want more than that, you got to pay for the difference.
Yep.
Yeah. Exactly. Anyone else have any ideas? It's a challenge, man.
Yeah, it's always a challenge.
So as I guess, most unique in your role as a new dad, what would you teach other dads coming up after you to what to expect? What were some of the biggest things maybe your kids have taught you, and what would you teach those dads coming after you? And that's for all of us. Thinking about we have a unique ability that our kids can teach us things. Yeah. So one, what has your kids taught you? And then secondly would be the other part of the question would be, what would be the advice that you would give someone that's in your shoes? A girl dad, a stepdad, a dad of young kids, older kids, and me as an adoptive dad, what would you teach?
You can call me an old dad.
Old dad,
It's
yeah,
fine.
old dad.
It's fine.
Yeah, you're the old dad.
Seasoned.
Seasoned.
Veteran.
Veteran, yeah, there you
I'll
go.
start. Some of the things that my kids have taught me, or maybe more accurate, is what I want to take from them is, especially little kids, they don't know how to judge people. They're judgment free. All right, they look at things the way it is on face value. I want to be like that, and little kids preach that in the way that they act every day.
Let me tell you about the purpose of my life. My wife and I have been foster and adoptive parents for 13 years and adopted 9 of our 11 kids out of foster care. And we have launched a nonprofit called Friends of Ohana, which helps kids aging out of the foster care system transition to adulthood. We are helping hundreds of kids learn workforce development and be ready for employment, work at our restaurants, and then also help kids go to summer camp and winter camp and join sports activities to live a normal childhood and not be thought of as foster kids. And we want you to get involved. You can become a mentor, get involved and become an ambassador, or donate now. Check out ohanafriends.org for more information. And then what advice would you give to these dads coming after you?
Kind of cliche stuff really, but it makes a lot of sense. Is like, kids, they're only little for so long, so hold them as long as you can. Mm-hmm. Marley, she's 10, she's going to be 11. I can still hold her for a minute, but one of these days I'll put her down and I'll never hold her again. Mm-hmm. And that just kind of, it stings a little bit. Like, you've heard the words, but like, and I don't mean stinks because she's big now, but I mean, it stings like my heart a little bit because just thinking about not being able to, have her jump into my arms and I can hug her, And Bennett's got a little bit of time for that, but I don't want to see those days go away, but they will.
Yeah, that's good. It's good.
Yeah. Being a girl dad, my daughters have I've learned lots of things from my daughters. I've learned lots of things being a girl dad for instance, my oldest just started playing flag football, and I'm a football coach at heart, but she started playing, she showed up, started playing, she's going to play a pass rusher. So as a dad, I'm learning everything I can about the art of pass rushing. And for me, I think if my daughter wanted to do anything, she wanted to learn how to play cricket, I would learn how to play cricket so I can be in the backyard, teach her how to do this, right? Mm-hmm. I coached basketball, football my whole life. My daughter started playing club soccer. I became a coach. So I studied the whole entire how to be a soccer coach because I want to be able to teach them those things. So I've learned a lot. I've also learned as I get older how to feel what they're feeling or try to step in their shoes, right? As dads or as parents, we naturally say things our parents have probably said, like, oh yeah, I had it hard. We used to do this as kids. But to my daughters, their biggest problem is the biggest problem in the world for them. So try to understand what they're going through as their teenage emotions. Like, especially with teenagers, everything is about their friends. And I'm like, as parents, I'm like, yeah, show me your friends are, I'll show you who you are. And I start saying those things my parents said, but trying to understand how they feel, myself in their shoes, has really just taught me to be patient and really like be understanding. Try to say, okay, what are you going through? How can I help you with that? So I think I've learned a lot more how to just say, this is my way or the highway, this is it. And not paying attention to their feelings. And girls, they go away and they start crying for no reason. You're like, what did I just say?
Yeah.
So really just learning that.
Yeah, I've watched you really start to engage that because you're not necessarily an emotional guy.
Yeah.
But now your girls need that from you.
Yeah.
And you kind of go show up in those moments when they're going through hard times.
Yeah, definitely. And I've learned how to teach them to, big motto in our house is just keep fighting, keep pushing. You get knocked out. Like old Rocky movie, or not old, but Rocky movie talks about life is not all about sunshines and rainbows. It's going to beat you up if you let it, right? It's not how hard you can hit. It's how hard you can get hit and keep pushing forward. It's about how hard you can get hit to the floor and keep getting up and pushing forward. And I try to instill that in my girls, that pursue purpose, pursue joy, not just pursue happiness, not just pursue the world. You're going to go through stressful times. You're going to go through anxiety. You're going to go through all this. You have to fight. You have to keep pushing. You have to rely on your faith. So that'd be my advice for girl dads is one, date your daughters, take them on dates, get to know them, be an example of what you want the man they're going to marry one day. You have to be that example. So I have to be the best husband I can be, so that my daughters, when I come home, kiss my wife and pursue my wife and treat her, love her to death, my daughter's going to see, oh man, I want a man that's just going to be just like my dad, right? That's going to pursue me like that. It's going to be respectful like that. That's going to be, God-driven like that. So I have to live that every day. So that'd be my advice for girl dads: just date your daughters and teach them what respectful man, because they're going to bring home some jerks. They're going to bring home some people that, aren't good enough for them. So I tell my daughters, no one's ever going to be good enough for you, right? But if I can be that example, what they should look for, then I think, I'm doing okay. So that'd be my advice.
It's good.
It's great. Yeah, I think one thing I've learned from my kids is to be able to ask forgiveness. I don't think my parents ever did that, but you feel that conviction, right? That's the Spirit of God. So like I say something I know I shouldn't, or maybe I, pull a past parent moment. I'm like, that was my dad. And I know how that felt.
Yeah.
And I, I have asked my kids for forgiveness, and they've taught me, they're just so gracious and they're willing to forgive me. So I think I've just experienced that from them, which has been, hopefully it's blessed me. Hopefully it's a good example for them, but that's been a tremendous thing that I've learned from my kids. And then I think if looking at other dads in my situations, new dads, just dads in general, I think, we live in a very kind of less and less committed type culture and world. I think there's, some lies out there like, hey, if you fall out of love or it gets hard, you can bounce around or try something else. But I think being a parent, being a husband is one of the most unique opportunities we have, especially to represent who God is, his faithfulness, his consistency, his love, his protection. And it's it's more on the line again than just our wants or whatever. It's we're representing the creator of the universe. We're representing the God who is Father and calls us his children. We need to plow through, like you said, keep getting up, because it's there's something larger at stake here than just that relationship is significant, but we're also setting the tone for future generations. And so it's stick with it, because it's worth it. And I think God, as he blesses us, is going to bless our kids, and it's going to continue to bless others. And I think that's just it's a significant calling that we get to be a part of. So yeah,
It's good. New dad life.
New dad.
How about your brother ends up having a kid, or your best friend? What advice are you giving him?
With my son, what he's taught me, or even with my kids, what they taught me in general as a dad, to be more affectionate. I would say, again, another thing that I would say, growing up, was a bit more distant about learning. I learned it more with my mom than I did with my dad, about being more affectionate, being comfortable and vulnerable with family. So with me, I've learned to be more vulnerable when it comes to my kids, not being able to show myself having a sense of weakness in front of them, but not a bad thing, but more so hey, it's not gonna be always perfect. It's not gonna always be perfect, but I'm showing you, that's good, that these days happen. These are things that will be, but we can also get past these things. There's also other days where there's good things happening. There's gonna be some sad days. There's gonna be a whole multitude of different days. But being vulnerable, being affectionate, was the things I like being able to hug my son, kiss him on the forehead, give him words of affirmation when he's having a fun time or doing something. What recently we did with chores. Usually I'm he's 2. He doesn't, he's 2 years old. What is he doing chores for? But I turned it into a game. So he'll see me put it away his toys and whatnot. And I'm oh, we'll make it a race. So he'll run in his room and just try to throw all the toys in the basket. Sometimes they'll miss and hit walls or the closet door and stuff, just make a big old loud sound. What was that? It's just throwing stuff. But yeah, being affectionate and being vulnerable with kids, that's something I was taught or I've been learning as a parent. I would say for new parents going forward, I would say something to be thinking about is being involved. Like being present in that moment with your kids is like the most precious thing that happens. As you were saying, like they're gonna grow up, they're gonna become their own person, they're gonna have their own identity. So like these moments right now as they're little and getting older, that's precious. This is time that we can't go back for, we can't rewind. So trying to maintain that is like a really big thing, I would say, with parents, because it's so easy to get caught up in our own personal stuff, so easy to get caught up in life situations, or just, again, a bad day happens and we want to be able to kind of just take a breather and take maybe a step back for a second. But it's like, as dads, we kind of got to make sure we're the everyman. We got to be like the superhero when it comes to our kids. We can't fold. We can't show weakness. If we do, like, it has to be in a proper way, if that makes sense. So like, I think being present, being in that moment with them is vital.
That's cool.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good. That's a good word. That's really good. Yeah, what I hear collectively is like there is such power in being intentional, and this is the biggest calling of our life. And that we have to learn that we have to be, we only get one chance at this. And at the end of your life, it's not going to matter how much money's in the bank, what houses that you have, probably even what vacations you went on, but how you raised your kids and what they should be better than who we are. And you guys all inspire me to want to be better dads. And you're like showing the way, like, all right, we need to be present, intentional, and that is what it's about. And there's a lot of things in this world that we don't fully get, like screen time, entitlement. But the most powerful thing is that we are constantly learning together, that we are constantly trying to be better today than we were yesterday, because our kids need that, because this world is evolving so quickly. So friends, if you have a dad or dads in your life, make sure you say Happy Father's Day to them. Give them a hug, give them some props. And thank you for listening. Make sure that if you're not subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, send a comment. And until next time, may you unleash your purpose so you can profit in business, faith, and life.
Thanks for joining us for the Unleash Your Purpose podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review. We'll see you next week.